with Derin from SDG Youth Connect. If yeah.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you guys again, and thank you so much for joining the SDG Design Challenge. So I'd like to give you guys a bit presentation, a short one, but something that'll help you get introduced to the SDGs. Are you able to see my screen? Great. Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to the SDG Design Challenge, and at least for me, welcome to SDG Youth Connect. So at SDG Youth Connect, we do the following. As SDG Youth Connect is a youth-led global nonprofit advancing the Sustainable Development Goals through awareness, advocacy, and action. And we are active in 50 plus countries with over 1,000 members at the moment. And we engage youth, educators, and young communities worldwide with one powerful mission. That is empowering youth for a sustainable future through the 2030 Global Agenda, commonly known as the SDG framework. And feel free to learn more, join us, and or support our work at sdgyouthconnect.org. So, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So the 17 SDGs are global blueprint adopted by all UN member states in 2015 to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity by 2030. These interconnected goals address the most pressing challenges facing humanity today. Yet, there are only 4 years left in this 15-year timeline, and we must take action quickly and effectively. And so achieving them requires innovation, collaboration, and youth leadership. That's where all the participants come in at the SDG Design Challenge. At the SDG Design Challenge, you can design innovative tech solutions using AI and other technology solutions for the SDGs, ensuring that the SDGs are improved and worked towards through tech, not the other way around. And so I'll start off with the first 5 SDGs. So SDG 1 is no poverty. And the goal is ending poverty in all forms and ensuring social protection for all. And in terms of AI can improve aid targeting, but biased data can exclude vulnerable populations. And this would be in some terms of, for example, an unrepresentative data set, in which a data set might have a lot of information about one area and less about another area, prioritizing the area with more data rather than the area that might need it even more. SDG 2, Zero Hunger. So Zero Hunger's goal is to end hunger and promote sustainable agriculture. AI can optimize crop yields and predict shortages, but small farmers may lack access to tools. Going forward, as we talk about AI and the SDGs, there's always the problem of the digital divide, in which 2.6 billion people don't have consistent access to internet and or electricity. And these are mostly in developing nations where your projects can aim to fix that problem. SDG 3, Good Health. Ensuring healthy lives and strengthening healthcare systems is what defines SDG 3. Yet, AI improves diagnostics and forecasting, really allowing health diagnostics to get all around the world without a need for health hospitals. Yet, data privacy and access concerns is extremely important. Yet again, the digital divide raises another problem. But in addition to that, data privacy of the AIs and how the AI takes your data, your health data, your insurance data from you is very important and must be addressed. SDG 4, Quality Education. Ensuring inclusive, equitable education and lifelong learning. AI can personalize learning, but risks surveillance and over-automation. In this sense, what it means is AI might breach your data similar to data privacy concerns in SDG 3, in the sense that it could also be biased and teach you biased data based on the training of the data it received. For example, if it received data that is biased in itself, then the output that it gives you will also be biased. And this is something that you must make sure to eliminate if you do an SDG 4 solution. SDG 5, achieving gender equality and empowering women and girls is what defines SDG 5. And AI can identify inequality patterns, but biased algorithms may reinforce discrimination. There's actually a really great example of this. And so you can test it out now or after the presentation if you like. But on Google Translate, when you take a language like Turkish or Hungarian, for example, which has a gender neutral pronoun, when you do that, that pronoun based on what the profession is. So if you said that person, the gender neutral pronoun, is a doctor, or that person is a taxi driver, or that person is a nurse, based on that, the AI will, using its bias, assume which gender that person is. For example, for a doctor, it may say he. For a nurse, it may say she. For a taxi driver, it may say he. And this is a problem that extends past just the surface level. This shows the inherent biases in the AIs that we use every day. And we must understand and aim to eliminate those biases as we develop new solutions. Now, SDG 6 to 10, essential resources and economic equity. So SDG 6 addresses clean water and sanitation. This helps ensure clean water availability and improve management systems for sewage across the world. AI detects leaks and forecasts scarcity of water, but infrastructure costs remain high in low-income areas. Establishing a very functional sewage system and water system requires complex piping, collaboration, and coordination that is very hard in low-income areas where it is hard to even get a good education. SDG 7, affordable clean energy. Ensuring access to reliable, sustainable energy and increasing renewable energy use is what defines SDG 7. Yet, since AI optimizes energy grids, AI can really help energy. But even a worse problem than that is AI's own energy intensive, may increase emissions a lot. AI uses a massive amount of energy, and it's so great. You can search it up. But for example, GPT-5, made by OpenAI, as you guys have heard, probably ChatGPT. The president of OpenAI, the CEO, Sam Altman, he was so worried about AI's energy use that he didn't even decide to disclose the AI's energy use, GPT-5's energy use, when it released in late 2025. Now, moving on to SDG 8. SDG 8 is decent working growth, defined simply as promoting inclusive economic growth and protecting labor rights across the world. These include having a set wage amount, a minimum wage being hired based on the inflation, also having improved productivity through AI. But the sad thing is that AI automation threatens job displacement if we do not adapt in a right way. For example, if we do not start upskilling workers and reskilling workers to ensure that post the AI age of working in low skilled jobs, they will be able to redistribute, and we will be able to avoid a huge percentage of unemployed workers across the world. This is really important, and we must understand that our AI solutions must also accommodate and govern for people whose jobs will be lost due to those AI solutions if it applies. Now, SDG 9, industry and innovation and infrastructure. Building resilient infrastructure and fostering sustainable innovation is what defines this SDG. And AI can really accelerate development, ensuring and making sure where places and like scanning the areas to make sure where you should build this building, where you should build a hospital. Based on data, it can collect all that and analyze to make the best decisions. Yet again, the digital divide comes again and excludes developing regions, as many regions across the world don't have stable access to internet or electricity. And if they don't have that, how will they be able to access AI? And SDG 10 is reduced inequalities. Reducing inequalities within and among countries through social and economic inclusion is what defines this SDG. And this can include racial inequalities, this can include socioeconomic inequalities, and the AI can identify these gaps and again, analyze and synthesize the data to really make a good plan. Yet, again, unequal access to this AI widens disparities. For example, if the upper class of a nation can access this AI, but a lower class can't, that will create an even further disparity and gap between those two classes, really exacerbating the digital divide and widening disparities. SDGs 11 and 12. So SDGs 11 and 12 are sustainable communities and consumption. So, sustainable cities and communities, which is SDG 11, aims to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. This includes AI improving transportation, traffic flow, disaster response, and urban planning, but raises surveillance concerns and data misuse risks. Responsible consumption and production, SDG 12, ensures sustainable consumption and production patterns while reducing waste. AI can optimize supply chain and minimize waste, for example, in a school cafeteria. If, to give you an example, if a school cafeteria produces a set amount of food every day and a set amount of food is unused consistently, then maybe they can reduce the amount of food they make to then accommodate and use less food but still feed the same amount of people. Now, SDG 13. This is one we've heard a lot recently. And so climate action is very urgent. We must take urgent action to combat climate change, and we must strengthen resilience, adaptation, and mitigation efforts worldwide. The climate crisis demands immediate coordinated action from every sector of society, from academia, from scientists, from civil society, from private sector, and from governments and international governmental organizations like the United Nations. And 1.5 degrees Celsius was the global warming limit. The target to avoid catastrophic impacts at 1.5 degrees Celsius has been already breached, and this is very, very critical that we lower it back to this amount. And additionally, the critical deadline, as we said earlier, is the 2030 of the 2030 global agenda. We must have emissions by this year, and then we must reach net zero carbon emissions by 2050. So now we have about 24 years for the second goal. And AI's dual role in this is very important. AI can model climate risks and optimize mitigation strategies. But yet, on the other hand, AI's own carbon footprint and resource consumption through energy and water presents significant challenges. The energy coming from the sheer amount of energy needed to train and process more than billions of queries every day through AI, and also the water consumption coming from the excessive amount of coolants needed to manage those AI systems and AI data centers. SDGs 14 and 15. So, protecting life on Earth. First, life below water, or SDG 14, and that is conserving and sustainably using oceans, seas, and marine resources. Reducing pollution and overfishing to protect marine ecosystems. AI can monitor ecosystems and detect illegal fishing activities, but developing coastal regions often lack data access and technological infrastructure. Yet another reason, the reason of the digital divide having a large effect on these SDGs. Life on land, SDG 15. This includes protecting terrestrial ecosystems, combating deforestation, and preserving biodiversity. Restoring degraded land and halt biodiversity loss is a very important part of this SDG. AI can track deforestation patterns and monitor species, but surveillance technologies may be misused against indigenous communities and local populations. The same AI that tracks deforestation patterns through cameras, sensors, etc., may also be used to increase surveillance on local populations and communities, which is something that can breach their data. SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. So, an access to justice is a very important part of this SDG. We must promote peaceful and inclusive societies with access to justice for all, building effective and accountable institutions at every level of the process, whether it be a local township level, a state level, a national level, or international governance level. And also, transparent governance is increasingly necessary. Developing transparent, responsive, and inclusive decision-making processes are extremely important in this time of geopolitical instability. Ensuring public access to information and protecting fundamental freedoms can help the public gain their own perspective on the governance. Additionally, AI for good governance is really important, as AI can improve transparency and service delivery in institutions, but algorithmic decision-making risks undermine human rights and fairness. AI can be biased, non-transparent about its data usage, and a lot of other things. But one thing we can do is by governing AI, we can eliminate all those risks. And finally, SDG 17, partnerships for the goal. Strengthening global partnerships and cooperation is really important, by mobilizing resources, sharing knowledges, and leveraging technologies to achieve the SDGs. Multi-stakeholder collaboration is essential for success, and this can happen by connecting stakeholders like governments, civil societies, and private sectors through boards like the United Nations and other international governmental organizations. 2, sharing technology is extremely important, transferring knowledge and tools across borders, as now the struggles for the SDGs are not a national struggle, but they are a global struggle. Building capacity is extremely important. We must strengthen local implementation capabilities around the world. If it's been done somewhere, it's probably needed in another place. There are 8 billion places, 8 billion people in this world, and so many of those people have probably reached the same solution over different periods of their life. 4, ensuring accountability. Creating shared governance frameworks is extremely important. And again, this ties back to fostering organizations like the United Nations to ensure accountability, build capacity, share technology, and connect stakeholders. And AI's promise for this is AI can really accelerate collaboration and improve technology sharing. Yet, lack of shared governance and accountability mechanisms can be really detrimental towards this sharing methods. And finally, going back to the SDG Youth Connect, after teaching you a bit about the SDGs, if you have an idea that uses AI to accelerate the SDGs and needs a real launchpad, the SDG Youth Connect's SDG Project Propulsion Program is here to help. SDG Youth Connect will help select a few successful competitors through their own inquiry, so you'll have to send us an email to be in the competition for a partnership. And if you are selected, you'll be offered a partnership through mentorship, visibility, strategic partnerships with like-minded organizations, and access to funding and volunteers. We support youth-led projects from concept to real-world impact, keeping them accountable along the way. Whether you're building a climate solution, improving food systems, or addressing health education gaps, this is your space to turn innovation into action. Learn more or get involved at sdgdesignchallenge.com or reach out to sdgproject@sdgyouthconnect.org. And again, learn more and support our work at sdgyouthconnect.org. And finally, from ideas to action, the SDGs are all interconnected, as you've seen. Solutions must be too. Progress on one goal creates opportunities for others. Think holistically about the impact of your AI design challenge. AI is a powerful tool, but only with ethical governance. Technology amplifies both solutions and risks. Design with equity and justice at the center, and make sure you're checking for these values at every stage or step of the process. And finally, youth innovation bridges global goals and local impact. We are here as youth, and your generation brings fresh perspectives, digital fluency, and urgency to the table. The SDG Design Challenge is your chance to turn ideas into action, partnered with SDG Youth Connect. Join us in creating solutions that work for the people and the planet. The future starts with you. Thank you.